Rip, plop, splash, wish, rustle, boom, crack, patter, howl, whir, gush, roar, spatter, hiss.
Are you ready for
rumble,
this?
fish,
All right.
flutter.
Oh, thank you so much for joining today. Wow. What an incredible Christmas today. Wonderful. That's the feeling I have right now. It's like, wow, that's so beautiful. All this light, love, and so much healing going on. So lovely. Wow. Great. Wonderful. Now here we are at the Liberating Arts, and today is our special guest. We have a special guest, Ed Ruscha, if I say it right. Ruscha, Ed Ruscha or Ruscha. So he's from California. I think he's still around, 87 or something. It's quite old, seems like. But yeah, so we're diving into his world, and that's a different kind of artist. If you see the sequence that we already have gone through, so to speak, Ed is a bit like different, and maybe that's because he's actually more into words and into the meaning of words, into a specific part is also the form of the words, of the letters. What do they do? How can they be present? Now, it's an interesting story, you could say, that we use Ed. So the interesting part of the story is, in fact, recognizing the meaninglessness of the words that you use as a human being. Now here we're sort of kind of experts in it, doing A Course in Miracles, for instance. You recognize the first lesson. It's like, yeah, it's like everything that I see is in fact based on my ideas about what something is. But that's a bit, too early, you could say, or it's too late, because we forgot one step, and that is to let the thing itself tell us what it is. So we already have a preconception about it. We already know what it is. Like, no, this is a doorbell, and that's a chair, that's a gas station, that's a Hollywood sign, or who knows what. Like, we fix the ideas connected to what we see, making that real for ourselves, to organize the chaos that we find ourselves in, to arrange the deck chairs of the Titanic that we live on as human beings, because it's very temporal. Now this brings you into the realm of Ed, because Ed has taken time to actually take a good look at that. It's like, what are these words doing anyway? What is anything on paper doing anyway? What does meaning actually mean? What can you discover in what you see? Is there anything that will give you information? Or is it just completely subjective and completely just, no matter what is happening, you made it up yourself and that's it? So, so in this moment that we're together, we will discover an answer with Ed, letting him talk a little bit, and looking at some of his art, sharing some of the principles behind it. Now, to warm up, I step into my favorite thing here, onomatopoeia. Onomatopoeia, ever heard of it? Onomatopoeia. That's a word like splash that literally gives rise to a picture of the sound that it actually makes. Splash. whoosh, into the water, swoosh, into the water, swoosh is also one, and honk of a horn, of wham, or all these things, like they have a direct expression of what it is they are. So this is interesting, more interesting than you might notice right away. You say like, yeah, the splash, okay, so it makes the sound as the word itself, like a cuckoo, for instance, in the birds. Cuckoo. The cuckoo makes a kookaburra. Well, we saw this in Australia. The kookaburra makes the kookaburra sound. That's an onomatopoeia too. Now that is more interesting than you think, because most words are like twice removed from their actual meaning. Now with splash, it comes closer to what it actually expresses than any kind of other word that we use, like a book is a book, but a book doesn't make the sound book. No, it literally doesn't tell you anything about what the word actually means if you just listen to the sound of it. Now, onomatopoeia, it comes directly at it, quite directly. But then the splash, so what is a splash in itself is nothing. A splash can have a lot of meaning if you give it meaning, but that's about it. Anyway, I made a list. I expressed some words. I made a little sound moment that I like to share with the ideas of onomatopoeia. And this is just a list of words that I use in a rhythmic sequence.
Rip, plop, splash, whoosh, rustle, boom, crack, patter, howl, whir, gush, roar, spatter, hiss, rumble, swish, thud, tinkle, flutter, clatter, rip, plop.
Okay, so that's, well, that is, I don't think that Ed Ruscha made installations with that, for instance with the sound. It would have been a great idea too, but you can't do it all. So he was more into painting, into making graphic art of it, because that's where he came from advertisement and making visuals. That was his origin and how he came to creative expression. But let's hear Ed talk. Why is he so damn cool? Okay, so that's an introduction, but we didn't actually hear Ed Ruscha, as you say his name, Ed Ruscha. We didn't actually hear Ed Ruscha say anything, so that's the next thing I want to do. In his discoveries, it was pretty early on. He came in touch in a museum. He came in touch with say a piece of art from the DaDa movement. The DaDa movement worked a lot with the idea of the meaninglessness. So he discovered something, and that's what I like to share too with you. So it's great to have him talk himself at Ruscha, and that's wonderful. Onomatopoeia in art. I just use that word because it's not very common for me to use it, and I love it. All right, here's Ed Ruscha. Ed Ruscha's art is a meditation on the visual and linguistic fabric of our world. He invites us to look closer at the ordinary, to question the relationship between a word and its meaning, and to recognize the poetic and often humorous absurdity hidden just beneath the surface of everyday life. Now here, if you look at the Hollywood sign, you might not directly recognize it, that it's mirrored, but it could be. So it's like you look at it from the back. Now if that would be the West, interesting. Anyway, so he painted this, and that was one of his ways of expressing, or is one of his ways of expressing. Ed Ruscha uses onomatopoeia to transform words into visual objects by painting words that are sounds, like oof or honk. He gives them a physical presence that goes beyond their simple meaning. He treats the word as a subject in itself, focusing on its visual and typographical qualities. See, there's something to discover here, of course, otherwise I wouldn't be bringing it on. It's like there's something there. It's like using, in fact, you enter into a field where typography and habit are in fact conflicting or are meeting each other. Like what he does here, if you look at the, for instance, at the shades here, you see that that's actually not possible. So what is it? How is this connected to anything? Like he has played with that. So you have to take a really good look to make something out of it. And then here there's just the words or letters of an onomatopoeia, of a honk. See, you come into a space where you see the meaninglessness of it, almost like dripping off of it. Now honk doesn't make noise at all. It's just say putting letters together and discovering something new. So that's interesting. Words as objects and images. Ed Ruscha treats words not just as text to be read, but as a physical object with their own form, texture and visual weight. He explores typography, font and the no-size quality of words, making them monumental and almost sculptural. By painting a word, he glorifies it as an object rather than a mere piece of text, prompting the viewer to consider the word's visual and sonic qualities, not just its meaning. And in the museum, people keep staring at this. I don't know why. It's like a koan, isn't it? So it's very close to koan. It's never mentioned anywhere, but it's like start over, please. It's like a koan. So in this sense, Ed Ruscha is more like a Zen master than you might directly see. The banality and absurdity of modern life. He often documents the mundane, overlooking aspects of the urban landscape, gas stations, apartment buildings, parking lots, billboards. By presenting these commonplace subjects with a detached, almost documentary style, he highlights the banality of modern urban life and the relentless barrage of media and consumer culture. The humor in his work is often comes from the absurdist juxtapositions he creates, such as a pithy phrase against a serene, cliched sunset. So here's a picture of a painting on a building. Honey, I twisted through more damn traffic today. See, these words are just, in fact, put there. It does something totally different than just a message. So I love it for that. Like, it's great to see that at work. Then we have here this. It's interesting to see how you read this. See, words without thoughts never go to heaven.
Roar, spatter, hiss, rumble, swish, thud.